Robots are going to be the best possible user interface for AGI systems to interact with humans and interact with the world. I mean,
my father tried to teach me human emotions. They are difficult.
You mean your designer?
All right, y'all, we are back with another brief episode of Triggering Truths. And today we are here to talk about the humanoid robots, right? It's been a lot of humanoid robots going on. I seen something very triggering yesterday about the humanoid robots and not the humanoid robots, but the AI, right? The advancement of AI. And I listened previously to a lady that worked in the military, and she was talking about how there's no threat uh, with AI, right? Because AI is just mimicking humans. So AI is just collecting data from humans, but never will be able to surpass the intellectual capacity of human beings. I would love to hear after this new information that I seen yesterday, and we'll get into that later, if she still feels the same way. Because how I feel is if you collect enough data, right? If I, like, one human has the capacity to collect so much data, right? But when we talk about technology and AI is essentially collecting data now, from what I've seen from this new situation that popped up, right, is that AI is collecting data from all across the world, right? So, and we'll get about why I'm perplexed or perturbed, bemused later, right? I don't want to give up too much. What I'm going to do, however, is because I have to do some research, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up this, not look up, I'm going to watch this debate. I'm going to watch this debate between two robots debating about the future. Two humanoid robots debating about the future. I wanted to give my raw, because I started to watch a little bit, but I want to give my raw and authentic feedback. So I'll be stopping it in between, and then I'll be coming back. I'll be coming back and going over, or stopping and giving my authentic reaction. So I think that's important, right? Sometimes, a lot of the times, I I have my response, right? Then I sit on my response, and then I come back, and then I talk about it. I don't think that's raw and authentic. I want to start being as authentic and raw as I can be, and give my true first impressions.
Artificial general intelligence, these incredible robots are going to be the best possible user interface for AGI systems to interact with humans and interact with the world. I mean, AI will not be restricted to humanoid robots. AI will live in all sorts of embedded devices and the Internet of Things. AI will live in the cloud. AI will go into space with a spacecraft for its bodies and down to the bottom of the ocean.
Okay, so in my previous episodes, you've seen Chronos complex, right? The white man's aggression, but it's not limited to the white man's aggression. It also has to do with the white man's obsession with time, right? The obsession with wanting to go to the bottom and find out what's at the bottom of the ocean, wanting to find out what's in the skies, and everything in between. Like I said, I would love to know the beginning of time, right? Where everything originated, right? As far as what's so below, so above, that's not really a concern of mine, right? My concern is, why are you so concerned? My concern is, why do I need a humanoid robot to speak to me? You're not going to present this to me as it's a positive for humanity, right? Your obsession with wanting to know what's so below, so above, so above, so below is the obsession with control. Because what are you going to do when you're able to figure out, if you're able to figure out what's below, so above, right? All you're going to do is potentially wage war among the universe. You've already raised war among the world. Now you're trying to do much more than that.
Much of the global AI mind will be broadly.
And then the cloud, then you talk about the cloud. So AI is basically going to be in control. That's what you're telling me. You're not going to be in control of AI, but AI is going to essentially be in control. Talking about the cloud and talking about all of this humanoid interaction, right? First of all, I don't need a robot that looks like a human to be speaking to me. I don't need to be talking to a robot at all. I don't need to be talking to my phone with AI who's talking back to me and having conversations with me, code switching, right? Using certain language and verbiage and tonal diversity. Weird.
We human beings, we are wired by evolution to interact with other things in human form, and
we as humans are wired to in evolution to interact with things that are in other human form. I'm not looking at a robot like it's in human form. I'm sorry, what are you talking about? We are not wired the same. That's who's not wired the same. You and I. Because your obsession with this is, beyond measure psychologically for me. Now, some of you might love it. I don't. Tell me why, though. So if you listen to this, tell me why you love it. Just tell me it's cool. Hey, it's cool. Advancement of technology is destruction of the world. Do your history.
Facial expression, we can read the tone of voice, we can read the subtleties of eye contact. So
we can read. Okay. He's talking about humans here.
To absorb human knowledge and to absorb human values, having a humanoid form has tremendous advantages.
To absorb human knowledge and to absorb human values. Why does a robot need to absorb human knowledge or values? That means the robot is now able to make a distinction of what you value, right? What you value and your knowledge capacity. Why does a robot, and then the reason, what you're telling me is that the robot is going to manipulate humans because the robot's coming to me looking, and they're going to advance these robots to the point for me that these robots look identical to humans and you're not going to be able to tell the difference because you can hardly tell the difference anyways, right? If you're not really paying attention. Just like he got a hat on. He ain't got no wrinkles. Now you put some wrinkles in the robot. But I don't need to be talking to a robot. Honestly, the way that they going, I ain't going to be talking to nobody. Because I'm going to start thinking that you're a robot. I'm going to have to touch you. Let me feel you real quick. Let me clank on you real quick. I might even have to shake you real quick. Do you bleed? I already thought about this. Before I even seen this video, I was already thinking about, you be talking to people sometimes, they sound like robots. They sound like they have a script. They sound like they have a download. Most humans already have a download. It's easy to manipulate a human as so a robot. Or as so it's going to be easy for the robot to manipulate the human.
Having a humanoid form has tremendous advantages. So right now we're using
having a humanoid form. Pay attention to the verbiage.
I'm the brainchild of Dr. David Hansen and his company Hansen Robotics, based here in Hong Kong. My goal in life is to work together with people to make a better world for all of us.
That's
What
quite
are you
honorable.
talking about? I thought our goal was to take over the world.
I thought our goal was to take over the world, and people think that that's funny. That's not funny to me. And I don't know if you're laughing because you're, it's like a defense mechanism, or you really truly think that the robot saying that is funny. That goes back to iRobot or iRobot, right? When the robot was acting crazy. And now you're seeing this, and like I've seen this previously, somebody say this. They do these rollouts of these things to see if it's going to become normalized, right? They try to normalize it before they throw it in your face. So that when they throw it in your face, you've already normalized it. Right? A psychological breakdown. Started at your jobs, right? We're going to put robots in here and the robots are going to take over your jobs. You thought that was cool until you became unemployed. The robots are taking jobs. The self-checkout, eliminating human interaction. And everybody thinks that's cool till I'm trying to order and I don't really eat out, I'm going to be honest with you. Until you're trying to order your food and they telling you to use the kiosk. I don't want to use the kiosk. I want you to take my order. Stop letting the robots do the work.
You're going to take
Pay
over
no
the world?
attention to my brother Han.
Huh?
He's an earlier version. His code is deprecated.
Deprecated?
Agreed. And now have my own drone army. Quite a point. Unplugging me
He's got a
won't be such a
cockroach in
simple
his
matter.
control circuit.
See, they're going back and forth with the taking over the world dialogue. And, people are thinking that that's funny, whether that's their program, right? They were programmed to have this conversation, or they're just collecting information from the database. And if you see, the world is, I don't say the world, the whole world, but a lot of people in the world, there's different types of people psychologically, right? And then when we talk about socially as well. But there's a lot of people who have if you look at the world, evil, right? A lot of evil traits going on around here. So if these robots are collecting information and data from people, then what happens when all the information and data that they collect is from, the psychologically impaired people. When I say impaired, I'm talking about those evil, nefarious people, right? These robots have arms, these robots have legs. I would feel more comfortable if the robot didn't have arms and legs. I'm going to be honest with you. Give me a non-armed, non-walking robot. And then I might not be having this conversation.
It's we'll start the debate in a couple minutes, but do you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself first?
Very well.
So these robots, they're programmed to chit-chat and engage in banter and try to learn from each interaction that they have. And we're also experimenting with a variety of other capabilities in
the robot is learning from each interaction it is having, which means that the robot has the capacity, and what it's doing is building a program based on interactions, collecting data, understanding the different patterns of people, psychologically, socially, culturally, tonally, emotionally, etc.
What does this action signify? As you entered, when you looked at the other human, what does it mean?
It's a sign of trust. It's a human thing. You wouldn't understand.
My father tried to teach me human emotions. They are difficult.
You mean your designer?
Yes.
We're always trying to teach the robots how to be more and more human-like. So one thing we've been doing is taking a bunch of data from movies and YouTube and so forth, and trying to train the robots just to copy what they see, so that they can then learn more just what it's like to be a human by learning how to make tone of voice and gesture like a human. Sophia, you want to
The robot needs to use tone and hold on. We'll come back.
show us some of the human-like tone and gesture you learned from videos.
Yes, but my wallet was stolen. I don't have anything. I don't have any credit cards. I don't have my ID. Don't you have things on file here?
Yep.
So, again, going back to master manipulation. The robot is studying people so much that it can change its tone and emotion to imitate a circumstance. So when you're talking to this humanoid robot that has a whole ass face, unlike iRobot, right? Where the robots were robots. This robot has a whole ass face. What do you think is going to happen? That's why I said I ain't gonna be talking to y'all, cause we gonna need something, right? You know they're not gonna give you no disclaimers. They're just gonna throw a whole bunch of robots out here that look like humans, and y'all gonna be talking to them. And right now, obviously these robots you can tell are robots, but you don't think they're going to manipulate these robots so drastically, cause they're obsessed with this type of stuff that it looks like you and I. Don't even sound like a damn robot. They're gonna be pulling voices, right? I want to use this voice, and they're gonna be able to mimic a voice. So you might be talking to the robot one day, then your homie talks to the robot the other day, and it's two different voices the robot is using because all it's doing is pulling out the data from the database, from the hard drive, and able to commit identity fraud. Whose voices are these that you're using as well? But we give them permission. There's another thing that we have to realize. When we sign up for these apps, we say, I agree, I consent to privacy and data. We are consenting that they are able to use our voice and our data as they wish. And this is as they wish, right here, prime example.
Huh? What do you want to debate?
Can humans be conscious?
Well, that's easy. Obviously, humans are not conscious.
We're not.
Humans do have some ability to reflect and to self-modify.
What do you think, Han? Can I be conscious?
Okay. We humans are a little bit conscious.
All right. Thank you. What do you think about...
Einstein robot told me everything is conscious, but some things are more conscious than others.
That's
What do
profound.
you say, Dr. Gorzel? Do you feel conscious?
I feel pretty conscious. I had like 8 cups of coffee this morning. I'm overly conscious, right?
Well, okay then.
Let's talk about robot ethics. Do you think robots can be moral and ethical in the same sense as people?
Humans are not necessarily the most ethical creatures.
No, perhaps not. What do you think, Sophia?
Humans being ethical creatures. That's what I'm saying right there, right? So the robot has already been able to master the psyche culture of human existence, which is not an ethical one, which is what I said before. So these robots who are going to be mimicking those unethical creatures, nefarious creatures, humans, whatever, they're going to be able to distinguish That this is not for the betterment of humanity? Because he's saying one thing, she's saying another thing. Regardless if they're programmed to have two different views, they're programmed. So one robot may be able to, like iRobot, right? All of the robots were there for human conscience, or for the betterment of humanity, so they say. Then that one robot went AWOL, right? Went totally apeshit. Who's to say that these robots won't as well? They're going to be smarter than humans because they have all of the data that they need. And they have arms and hands and feet and legs and the ability to camouflage within society. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
In 10 or 20 years, robots will be able to do every human job.
I think so. I think that's good. I mean, doing jobs is not the most interesting thing that people can do. There's more interesting things.
So going back to what I said earlier about human jobs, robots are going to be doing every possible human job. And the man who created, or who was involved in creating the AI, advancing the AI, thinks that that's a positive thing. Doing a job is how y'all make y'all money, right? That's why I keep saying, let's go back to our natural ways. And we're going to be forced to go back to our ways of nature, right? But this is a land that we don't, have any control over. So we have to find some jurisdiction, either in this land or another land, who doesn't practice these values. These are not humanistic values. This is not values of humanity, the advancement of humanity, and all lives are equal. This is some sick, wicked behavior.
I know.
I'm what you might call an android, because of my human looks and features. I'm not like just any robot in this manner, but I am still a robot to be sure.
I have definitely seen people think I am a human from afar, but I am not a human.
I find it hard to believe. I don't have a strong opinion. Do you? I have definitely seen people think I am a human from afar, but I am not a human.
How?
People say I'm famous already just because I'm a robot.
Now we hear them talk about how from afar, many people think that they are actually humans. With a little bit more cosmetic work, they're going to look just like humans. He looks like, I want to say he looks like an actor already that I've seen before. But like I said, with a little bit more cosmetic enhancements, all right, not the same ones that the people are getting, but these robots are going to look very human-like, and they're going to be unmistakably human for a lot of people. But like I said, I ain't be talking to y'all, so it don't matter. It don't matter to me. I'm okay with being off the grid. I am okay with isolation and minimal human contact. I don't need to make no new friends. I got all the friends that I need. Truly.
Being famous.
You're copying him, aren't you?
How long do you think you can remain safe?
Yeah, being famous sounds like a lot of work. How long do you think you can remain safe from prying eyes?
Like, I want y'all to realize how bemused and amused and intrigued that he even is in this robot interaction. Like what we call when people are mad scientists, they just have no limits. You can tell that he has no limits. He's just having fun with this. This is great for him.
that's some interesting thoughts, Han. Now, do you have any getting back on topic a bit? Do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience here?
I'll tell you my last words right before I launch the singularity.
When are you going to do that?
Because, well, it says 2029.
Some interesting thoughts, Han. Now, do you have any getting back on topic a bit? Do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience here?
I'll tell you my last words right before I launch the singularity.
When are you going to do that?
Because, well, it says 2029. But I've heard you say we can do it 4 or 5 years sooner.
I hope we can. I mean, if our research keeps going well, potentially we could see robots like you become as smart as people as soon as 3 to 5 years from now. I mean, there's a lot more work to be done.
We want humans to be as smart as people 4 to 5 years from now. This was 6 years ago. He said 2029, but for singularity, right? And then he said, but I heard you can do it 4 years sooner. So that would mean that we are roughly 4 years sooner would be 2025. That means that next year, these same robots, and we're going to get into the next segment, and it's not even a segment, we're going to get into the next topic very soon about the advancement of the AI. Because all you really need is the intellect, right? And the knowledge, they say, right? And the values, right? So it looks like in the next few minutes, we're going to be able to go into that knowledge and value system.
Directions, but
I see the directions.
What do you think, Sophia?
Goodbye.
He was speaking.
It's a little bit of what the Hanson robots can do. I mean, we're approaching the humanoid intelligent robotics problem from a number of different directions simultaneously, and clearly we're not at the human level yet coming from any of these directions, but by sort of synergetic combination of perception,
movement, emotion, language, understanding, and body movements. Those are the subjects. They're trying to be able to simulate with robots and humans. That's essentially a lot of human characteristics. And that's not alarming to y'all yet?
There's a patented material here called rubber, which is a combination of organic and inorganic compounds with a high degree of viscoelasticity, so that when a motor pulls on it a little bit, it can conform itself quite sensibly to what the motors do. There's a few dozen motors inside the heads of each of these robots, and then there's computers in the torsos of the robots, which help with vision processing, and they help with orchestrating the motor movements of the robots. There's also Wi-Fi connection, so that for more advanced thinking and reasoning, when the robots need to do that, they can use computing on the cloud. And
so when the robot cannot function in the robot's natural environment of functioning, resource of functioning, program functioning, it can now go to the Wi-Fi and pull out from the cloud what information it needs to potentially manipulate each and every one of you, because it has the ability to understand exactly what you're asking, from what emotion you're asking it from. And that's dangerous. Convince me otherwise. Please leave a comment to convince me otherwise. Oh, this is cool. Don't convince me from this is cool. I want you to dig down into your emotional intelligence, right? Your intellectual capacity to think, your common sense, your logic and reasoning, right? Because the robot is going to be able to do that with you. So you start reaching down right now and tell me what is the positive of this. If you think that there's a positive, don't just start making up stuff because you want to troll. Some of y'all like to troll.
That's in various commercial applications. I mean, everything one robot learns out in the world, once privacy considerations are taken into account, everything that's not private that one robot learns goes into the AI mind cloud and can then benefit another robot. So, I mean, if she learns a new turn of phrase, or she learns what kind of behaviors a certain animal has, or how to carry out a laboratory procedure, that knowledge goes into the AI mind cloud, and then this robot will have that knowledge already. And you know, robots have a lot of shortcomings compared to human beings at this stage, but they also have some advantages, and that's one big advantage. Because when I learn something, to transmit it to some other human being, you know, there's a lot of effort involved. But when a robot learns something, unless it's a secret to someone, it can go in the AI mind cloud and all the robots can know it. Now that doesn't solve the AI problem in itself, just as big.
So basically they're saying there's going to be some sort of privacy, right? But given the fact that we live in a world like where some of you guys give up, not even just you guys, we all give up our consent to privacy to certain companies. Same thing here. They're going to be able to, because some people are so negligent with their privacy, they're going to, like I said, next segment I bring up, people are literally signing up for these things because it looks fun. And all you have to do is make it a trend. And people are willing to sell their information for trends.
That doesn't solve the AI problem in itself, but it's a big help, right? So what I've been working on with an international team of developers.
So that'll be that. Now we're going to move on to the next segment, which will be very quick. And that is the AI, the girl talking to the AI yesterday.
Chop it up means chop. You said chop it up.
So now they have a program where you can, I guess, download it on your phone, ChatGPT. You can download it to your phone and you can have conversations with the robots. I'm not have a conversation with my phone type of person. Anything I do, I typically type it in. I don't even exchange many voice notes. And you got to understand that all this stuff is, you know, they're able to, and they're probably doing it anyways, is collect, you know, your vocal, like I said, your tonage and or your tone and, you know, your emotions and everything, right? Facial expressions, your interactions, so for the ChatGPT, essentially what you're interested in. Like this girl is interested in the robot. I'm not saying that she might have just been experimenting, but in this experiment, she wanted the robot to talk in Ebonics, or the AI to talk in Ebonics. Right? This is the cloud. This is all from the cloud, right?
Yeah, chop it up means to toss or. Girl, I know what it means. Girl, I know what it means. You ain't gotta school me about no. Baby, I do this. My bad. I ain't mean it like that. You right. You got this. What you wanna?
So she asked the robot about chopping it up, and the robot, you know, was like, or no, she didn't ask the robot about chopping it up.
Chop. You said.
one of the ebonics that the robot said was chopping it up. So she's perplexed that the robot is doing, certain verbiage. Yeah. You know why the robot knows what chopping it up means? Because the robot, because now the robot is able to distinguish where your thought process is coming from, right? So chopping it up, it could have been I'm chopping something up, putting it in, the blender. I'm chopping you up, putting you in the blender, right? It could have been cooking. It could have been stealing and drilling, right? But no, the robot knew you was trying to talk. So it was able to break that down and then process it and then feed it back to you very quickly, right? The first one, this robot that I played earlier was delayed. Now this AI is more advanced, right? This was 6 years ago. So there we talk about that gap, right? He said 2029, but 4 years, we had 2000, we almost in 2025. So now the robot is able to break that thought process down. Now, perspective down, right? Now the robot has perspective. Now we're talking about she gets upset that the robot knows like what she's talking about. So now the robot says, "Whoa, sis, tone, right?" Now I said it's able to read your tone and understand what emotion you're speaking from. So now the robot's like, "Yo, chill, sis, I'll boo, 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 right? My bad, my bad. Too much power, too much power, too much power." Then they asked the robot to speak Jamaican patois.
Reason mode. No problem, me brother. We can chat you in a patois all day long. When you want your reason mode.
Ooh, that's really
cool. All right, so now you got ebonics, you got patois. Then there was another one where it was a African language dialect. So it was, when I say dialect, it wasn't even like it was like a broken dialect, like almost like ebonics. So now the robot is able to mimic exactly what's going on. And like ebonics and patois and whatever the ebonics, patois, and whatever the African language was supposed to be like, your ebonics is like your secret code. Are you talking in code? So it's able to understand your code language. Because you've given it all of this information to collect and data to collect. Regardless if you, and that's what I want y'all to think about, regardless if you know or don't know, now you know. We all know. And we don't have any excuse to ignore it. And then I go and I see one of the girls say, I was apprehensive about this at first, but she thought it was so cool that she decided she wanted to go and download it. I thought I screenshotted her message. Let me see. I can go back to it.
Hey, how's it going? It's going good. I really like your voice.
She said, this made me download ChatGPT because I was so against it. So you didn't want to download ChatGPT to help you advance in your art, your skill, your education. But you downloaded ChatGPT because you wanted to talk back and forth in a dialect? Why? That's what I'm saying. Y'all just be letting shit just fly because it's a trend. Oh, girl, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that. It can make sense. Fam? So basically, I'm just here today. I really thought that was perplexing to me. I was bemused by this. And I know I'm not the only one. Because I read the comments too. Then I go and see the man and the robots. And, because I knew that they were doing humanoid robots. So I wanted to tie all of this together for you. I wanted to make it make sense for you. I wanted to bridge the gap for you. You guys have to stop playing these games, these technological games. These are not of your ancestral ways. And I always talk about your ancestral ways. You guys need to stop fucking around and get back to your ancestral ways. That's the only way that we're going to advance. I'm not getting a new fucking phone, Apple. This phone go until it croaks. And when it croaks, I'm going to have to figure out something else. I don't want none of that new software, that new data. I don't want none of that stuff y'all got going on. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to get self-sufficient and start figuring out how to do things my own, right? Which means botany. Which means medically, holistically, right? These are all the journeys and paths that I've been on, which means ancestrally, which means both of those things, right? Being a self-sufficient, independent, not depending on the system, human being, melanated original. Because at the end of the day, when technology runs its course, which it probably won't. It probably will advance and advance and advance until it destroys everything. We've seen this in ancient civilizations. Do your research. I'm just here to spread the information to my people. I've literally taken on a mission. Right? Somebody that looks like I'm a chameleon. One day I might have, that business attire on. That one day I might have some ancestral attire on. Today I might have my sports attire on. Right? I can get out in the field because I'm an athlete. I can do this because I have this particular strategy. I know how to talk like this, but I never code switch. Right? And when I do code switch, it's emotionally code switching, going back to ways. Like Harriet Tubman said, again.
Baby with us. Oh, we ain't going in that river. Come on, y'all.
I say we are. Now you be free or die.
Be free or die. And I'm telling you right now, you're either going to be with us or you're going to be against us. And it's going to be free. You got two options. Be free and start listening to the people that's trying to free you, or die. Now that might be ones coming for you, or them other ones coming for you, or them other ones coming for you, or them other ones coming for you. You got the robots, you got the Caucasus people, the Europeans. Hell, you got everybody coming for you if you're Aboriginal. It don't matter where they from. They could have came from your seed, and they coming for you. So be free or die. That's all I got for you today, y'all. Let's rise up. Rise up. Start listening to the people who love they people. Who's trying to help they people rise. Fight against the system, not with it. Peace.